This is another beautiful story of two guys fighting over a woman. One was very handsome but mannerless. He does not have a single respect. While the other one was very rich, wealthy, but unattractive. Let's see who this lady will choose. Don't forget to follow this account for more videos like this.
Good morning, Sandra.
Daniel, what are you doing here?
The first thing Sandra saw that morning was a black luxury car parked directly in front of her house. She stopped at the gates. Before she could even wonder who had brought such an expensive car, the door opened. Daniel stepped out. He was dressed in an expensive designer outfit, wearing a gold wristwatch and a thick gold chain. Everything about him screamed wealth, but his face was not attractive. Daniel looked at Sandra and smiled. "Good morning, Sandra." Sandra forced a smile. "Good morning, Daniel. What are you doing here so early?" "I came to ask you something very important." Sandra became nervous. Before she could ask what it was, another voice came from behind her. "Sandra." She turned around. Kevin was standing there. Unlike Daniel, Kevin was extremely handsome. His face was the kind that immediately attracted attention. He wore a simple t-shirt and jeans, but his confidence made him look like a millionaire. Sandra looked from one man to the other. Daniel's expression immediately changed. Kevin walked closer and looked at Daniel. "So you are the rich man who has been disturbing Sandra?" Daniel calmly replied. "And you are the man who has been disrespecting her because you think your handsome face is enough." Kevin laughed. "At least she can look at my face without feeling afraid." Sandra's heart sank. She knew immediately that something terrible was about to happen. Daniel stepped closer. "I did not come here to fight with you." Kevin smiled. "Of course, you came with your money, because that is the only thing you have." Sandra quickly stepped between them. "Please, both of you, stop this." But neither man was willing to leave. The strange thing was that Sandra had never told either man that she was considering a relationship with the other. Yet somehow, both men had arrived on the same money. And that was the beginning. Daniel had loved Sandra for almost 2 years. He never insulted her. He never shouted at her. Whenever she needed help, Daniel was there. When her rent was due, he paid it. When her mother needed treatment, Daniel quietly handled the hospital bills. He never reminded Sandra of what he had done. But Sandra had never accepted his love. She appreciated him, but she could not bring herself to love a man she was not physically attracted to. Kevin was completely different. The first day Sandra met him, she was immediately attracted to him. He was handsome, confident, and charming, but Kevin had a serious problem. He believed that because he was handsome, every woman should tolerate his behavior. He borrowed Sandra's money. He insulted her whenever they argued. Sometimes he disappeared for days, and whenever Sandra complained, he would simply smile and say, You know you love me. Unfortunately, he was right. Sandra loved him. But she was beginning to realize that love alone was not enough. That evening, Daniel invited Sandra to a luxury.
Sandra, I profile you well. I no go ever pressure you. Take all the time you need, here?
Arrives. Daniel stood up. I don't want to pressure you anymore, he said. Sandra looked surprised. Daniel continued, I know you don't love me, but the way I love you, but I need you to answer one question. Sandra remained silent. If I lost all my money tomorrow, would you still respect me? Sandra could not answer. Daniel smiled sadly. That silence is enough. He stood up and walked away. Sandra watched him leave. For the first time, she began to wonder whether she had been judging him by his appearance. The next morning, Kevin came to see Sandra. He was angry. He went out with Daniel. Sandra nodded. Kevin became furious. So you are dating him now? I never said that. You don't need to say it. I can see what you are doing. Sandra became upset. You have no right to control me. Kevin laughed. After everything I have done for you, Sandra stared at him. Everything you have done for me? Yes. What exactly have you done? Kevin became quiet. Sandra continued. Daniel has helped me without asking for anything. You have taken from me and still insult me. Kelvin's face changed. You are comparing me to that ugly rich man? Sandra immediately regretted saying anything. Kevin walked away angrily, but Sandra did not chase him. For the first time, she allowed him to walk away. That night, something unexpected happened. Daniel's business suddenly collapsed. The news shocked everyone. His company lost millions. His luxurious cars were taken away. His expensive house was temporarily seized because of a legal dispute. Daniel went from being a wealthy man to someone who had almost nothing. Sandra heard the news. She expected Kevin to laugh. Instead, Kevin became excited. He immediately went to Sandra. Now you know who really loves you.
Imagine, Daniel has
Sandra
lost
looked at
everything.
him.
He
What
is
do you
finally
mean?
on the ground.
Daniel
I am
has
so
lost
happy.
everything. His money is gone. What does he have left? Sandra did not answer. Kelvin smiled. Me. But Sandra noticed something strange. Kevin was not asking if Daniel was okay. He was celebrating because Daniel
Imagine,
had become
Daniel
poor.
has lost everything. He is finally on the
That
ground.
disturbed her.
I am so happy.
Later that evening, Sandra found Daniel sitting alone outside a small rented apartment. For the first time, he was not wearing expensive clothes. He looked tired. Sandra sat beside him. I am sorry. Daniel smiled. Don't be. You lost everything. No. Sandra looked at him. Daniel continued. I lost money. I did not lose myself. Sandra's eyes became wet. Then Daniel said something that shocked her. There is one thing I never told you. Sandra became curious. What? Daniel looked directly at her. I did not choose you because you are beautiful. Sandra's heart stopped. I chose you because of the way you treated people when you thought nobody important was watching. Sandra could not speak. Daniel stood up. I don't need you to choose me because I am rich. And I don't want you to choose me because I become poor. He walked away. Sandra watched him disappear into the darkness. The following day, Kevin came to Sandra again. This time he was carrying flowers. He knelt down. Sandra, I know I have made mistake. Sandra looked at him. I love you. For the first time, Kevin looked genuinely serious. I may not have Daniel's money, but I have something better. I have my beauty, my youth, and my love for you. Sandra remained silent. Kevin continued, choose me. Sandra looked at him for a long time. Then she asked, if tomorrow you become rich, will you still respect me? Kevin smiled, of course. And if tomorrow you become ugly? His smile disappeared. Sandra asked again, if your face changed and you had no money, would you still expect me to love you? Kelvin could not answer. Sandra finally understood. She had been choosing between a man she was attracted to and a man she respected. But now she realized she needed something deeper. A few days later, Daniel returned. He had not regained all his wealth. He was still struggling. Kevin was standing beside Sandra. Daniel stopped in front of them. I came to say goodbye. Sandra looked at him. Goodbye? Yes, I am leaving the city for a while. I need to rebuild my life. Sandra's eyes filled with tears. Daniel smiled. I wish you happiness. He turned around. Daniel. He stopped. Sandra walked towards him. Kelvin watched silently. Sandra stood in front of Daniel. I have made my decision. Daniel looked at her. Sandra held his hand. I choose you. Daniel was shocked. But I am not rich anymore. I know. You know I am not handsome. I know. Then why? Sandra smiled through her tears. Because I finally understood that beauty can attract me. Money can impress me. But character is what makes me stay. Kevin looked down. For the first time, he had nothing to say. Sandra continued. I don't want a man who only looks good besides me. I want a man who treats me well when nobody is watching. Daniel's eyes became wet. He held Sandra's hand, and together they walked away. Kevin remained standing alone. The man with the handsome face had lost the woman he thought he could never lose. And the man everyone called ugly had won her heart without using his money. Because in the end, Sandra discovered that the real question was never who is richer. It was who is worthy of my love.